I'm Katrina Cotton for InvestmentPitch Media. Thanks for joining us today. Today's feature company is Kaival Brands Innovations Group, a company focused on incubating innovative and profitable adult-focused products into mature and dominant brands, with a current focus on the distribution of electronic nicotine delivery systems, also known as e-cigarettes. The company is the exclusive U.S. distributor of all products manufactured by Bidi Vapor LLC, which are fully compliant with all current FDA regulations. Eric Mosser, President and CEO, and Stephen Sheriff, Chief Operating Officer, have joined us today to discuss the company, its history, products, and more importantly, its future. Welcome, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you, Katrina. Yes. Kaival Brands Innovations Group is a NASDAQ corporation. The symbol is KAVL. Was previously a shell company on the OTC markets. I'm one of the founders in which we purchased a control block of shares and uplisted it to NASDAQ. A little bit of history of the company. We signed an exclusive distribution agreement with Bidi Vapor, who's a manufacturer of a patented and trade secret e-liquid formulation in that device. It's an e-cigarette device. And we signed that distribution agreement in March of 2020. In less than 12 months, we had generated over $100 million in gross revenues, and it seemed like things were going to be great. The FDA had a PMTA process, which stands for Pre-Market Tobacco Application, and those applications were due from Bidi Vapor in September of 2020. So Bidi submitted 11 PMTAs, 1 for tobacco, and 10 of them were for flavors. And again, we had great success in the first 12 months, leading right up until about March or, the middle of 2021. In September of 2021, the FDA issued a blanket market denial order for all flavors across the board, basically trying to avoid their responsibility of actually having to open up these individual PMTAs. And so Bidi Vapor took the FDA to court, and after a process, actually won against the FDA in court that they were arbitrary and capricious and had not even looked at the flavored PMTAs for Bidi Vapor. So in the long and short of that is that Bidi Vapor's flavors remain on the market. They are legal under the PMTAs right now as they're in scientific review. Tobacco, however, it stayed on the market and never received a market denial order. It was not under that court case. And so it is on the short list, we believe, to have a final answer on the PMTA by the end of this year, which is very exciting because we look at Enjoy and what happened with Enjoy, right? They recently purchased for $2.7 billion, and they only have 2 PMTAs that are currently approved, both tobacco flavor. So it's very exciting to look at the industry and what possibly could happen as these good catalysts start to kick in. I mentioned that we had some headwinds that we ran into, in 2021, and that was due to the FDA's two actions. One, the FDA's lack of enforcement on illegal products coming from China, ones that had not submitted PMTAs, blatant violation of all process and procedure, marketing to kids, fruity flavors, all of these things. And the FDA themselves, right, as far as not processing the PMTAs and making clear to the market what was legal and what was not. So the PMTA process and the enforcement in the actual market were the 2 issues that we faced. And it, sort of significantly reduced our annual revenue, from averaging about $60 million a year to down to about $12 million a year. So all that being said, however, because it's been kind of a rough slide the past year or so, we're very excited about turning the corner here in 2024. As I mentioned, the FDA has indicated that certain PMTAs will get an answer by the end of this year. And we strongly believe that Bidi Vapor's classic tobacco is on that short list. It qualifies for all of the prerequisites that were laid out by the FDA as far as who was going to be on that short list. for an answer. So we're very excited. We're also very confident in the science and behind the Bidi stick. The founder, the other founder, my partner Raj Patel, who is the owner of Bidi Vapor, the manufacturer, he has a pharmacy degree and a chemistry degree, a master's and a bachelor there, and a long family history in tobacco processing. And so he set out to create the world's first true e-cigarette that actually effectuates the same in your bloodstream as a combustible cigarette. And he actually had that tested, with the pharmacokinetic study, which is available on our website. We published this before, the pharmacokinetics, and it's astounding. It's the first and only product in the market that actually traces over the combustible cigarette line as far as the nicotine in your bloodstream. Juul comes in at about 40 to 50%. The IQOS, that PMI spent billions on, comes in at about 70%. But the Bidi stick, with the trade secret e-liquid formulation that Raj has created, that Bidi Vapor has created, it is the exact same in your bloodstream as a combustible cigarette. So it is truly science and groundbreaking in this industry. And we're very excited, and our great success that we had, that 100 million that we did in the first 12 months, zero marketing. Even to this day, we do not market direct to consumer. We've never marketed directly to the consumer. We actually stopped all sales direct to the consumer, right, in order to address the youth access issue. That's really the problem with flavors, is the youth access issue. I'll turn it over to Steven for just a second to see if I missed anything.
Sure. Hey, thanks, Eric. I'm Steven Sheriff, the Chief Operating Officer of Kaival Brands. And Eric, you did cover mostly everything. I think, one thing that's important to mention is, there's a lot of anti-vaping groups, right? And unfortunately, the messaging and lobbying around that is not incorrect, right? Vaping is killing people. The issue, to be totally honest, and we're starting to see some of the bigger tobacco companies take direct action themselves, is the FDA has failed consumers. They've failed to protect them by not only making their market denials and market grants based on science, but they're not enforcing it, right? So the black market is in itself larger than the reported market. And that's something significant that I think is important for people, whether they're consumers or not, of vaping products, to be aware of. And on top of that, something that we're seeing in preparation ahead of this, hopeful December 31st deadline, is a lot of the large retail distribution channels, which many of them are our partners. They're preparing to, very quickly eliminate any players that are issued denial orders, and to remain stringent in only committing to provide their customers with the best products, such as the Bidi stick. Circle K, Quick Trip, very, very large distribution companies as well. They're all starting to take this into their own hands because the FDA is taking too long, and their customers are suffering. So,
yes, thank you, Steven. Yeah, that's and as we turn the corner to 2024, and the FDA steps up their enforcement, which they've already started to do that on a much more aggressive basis. Finding retailers for selling illegal products, and then as Steven mentioned, even big tobacco jumping into the game. Filing lawsuits at the International Trade Commission and in the state of California for failing to block these illegal vapes. And as we look at the black market, right, it's not like the demand will disappear. The demand is not going to disappear, right? They're going to shift into the legal market, which will only then further accelerate our growth and our revenues as the market gets cleaned up. So yeah, we're that's our core business, if you will, the Bidi stick distribution. That's what we built our success on in the beginning of this company. But looking ahead to the future of the company is is even more exciting, in my opinion. We began diversification efforts. We've added a patent portfolio, which I'll touch on. Probably one of our biggest relationships, or most important relationships, is with Philip Morris itself. They approached us, actually, out of all the companies that they possibly could have approached in this space, right? They approached Bidi Vapor because of how we go to market. We don't have a youth problem, and because of the science, right? What differentiates really the Bidi stick from all of the products on the market. They approached us and they wanted the international rights. So as I mentioned, between Bidi Vapor and Kaival Brands, we signed an exclusive distribution deal, right? Global distribution rights back in March of 2020. Philip Morris wanted the international side of it. Kaival Brands kept the U.S. distribution. So we said, okay, so we formed a subsidiary called Kaival Brands International, and Bidi contributed the right to use its IP, right, to develop a Bidi stick or a version thereof. And we contributed our international rights to distribute such device to KBI, our 100% owned subsidiary. And then KBI then signed the distribution agreement or the licensing agreement with Philip Morris, and they developed their own version of the Bidi stick using the same e-liquid formulation of Bidi Vapor. And they launched it. It was called the VEEBA, VEEBA, in Canada and the UK during their, test phase, if you will, for the first 12 months. They've recently changed the name of that product now to VEEV now, VEEV now, which is actually one of their reporting products in their financial numbers that they report every quarter.
Yeah, they've achieved proof of concept essentially, right? That's what Eric's alluding to is the product is now fully accepted and into their program.
Yes, exactly. And the agreement with Philip Morris is such that for every stick that they sell, there's a royalty that's paid to KBI. We split that royalty with Bidi Vapor 50-50. Just to give you an idea of the trajectory of these royalties, over the first 12 months, we averaged about $12,000 a month, or $480,000 over the first 12 months. These last 3 months, we've averaged over $100,000 in royalties. So I think it's over $300,000 for this last quarter. So we're very excited to see, the hockey stick, if you will, of these royalties. And, obviously, if this is now a reporting product in Philip Morris's portfolio, and they've stated very clearly that, their objective is to increase the revenues from the reduced risk product segment. So we're very excited to see where they go in all of their hundreds of countries that they are in. May, we executed a acquisition of a patent portfolio from a company called GoFire. GoFire was a company that had developed patents. They hadn't gone to market yet, but they had developed patents in the vaporizer space. And they had that patent portfolio independently valued. And while we can't use that valuation, the value was well north of six figures. Actually, it'd be nine figures, wouldn't it? Yeah, 9 figures. Well, north of 9 figures. So we're having that valued ourselves, right, under our own plan, and we expect that to be even more, perhaps, right? We're a public company. They were a private company, and but they have an innovative patent in there that really caught our attention, and that is the dosing technology on the 510 thread cartridge. So if you go to any unique cannabis shop or a hemp CBD product, 99% of the time, right, it's going to come in this 510 thread cartridge. It's the industry standard thread to connect to a battery, and it's this cartridge that you could fill with e-liquid. However, in the space, right, how do you control that dose, right? The Bidi stick has some patented technology as far as controlling the dose, but where's the dose for a hemp or CBD or even cannabis product? That's where this 510 thread cartridge comes in. It's very innovative. It's patented in multiple countries. And in fact, there were, 16 or 12 existing patents and 46 pending patents in this entire portfolio that we acquired. So we're looking at multiple applications of this portfolio in the nutraceutical, in the hemp and CBD, the cannabis, and even the pharmaceutical. As we look to pharma and what pharma is doing in this space, they are starting to really take a hard look at deep lung delivery, right? Which really, if we look at all of these segments that I just mentioned, there's a convergence there of the technology, and it's deep lung delivery, vaporization. It's the same concept. So, our belief is that eventually the white pill will go away because, the digestive system is different than the respiratory system as far as drug delivery. So we're very, very quickly looking to monetize those patents by either partnering with somebody in one of these segments that can use the dosing technology. And we're also looking at developing our own products, right, to go to market, either by augmenting existing products or developing brand new ones to go to market with this technology.
I would say one thing we've done well, just from a reputational standpoint with Bidi as our partner is that the products we bring to market, whether they're our own or those that we're distributing, we are committed to quality, right, across the board. That's a large differentiating factor in the Bidi stick, with anything from the hardware to the formulation. And a lot of the retail and distribution partnerships that we're focused on right now and expanding will also be those that we could potentially utilize with any new products that we roll out.
Absolutely. So I guess all that to say, we're very excited about 2024. We believe that we have set ourselves up for the future. We've been very, very aggressive, if you will, in updating our management team and expanding our C-suite, and also adding, industry experts to our board with Barry Hopkins and Tom Mesler, both from Turning Point Brands and Vapor Beast, which they were able to turn that company around and actually, I think, multiply revenues by 5x. Very excited about the future and what we got here at Kaival Brands.
Yeah, and I would close on top of that. If people have been paying attention, we've been working very hard to run a better ship, right? And what I mean by that is we brought in key new people around us. We've brought in key new hires. Everybody with a different skill set and a track record of success and growth, so that as we look to the future here, hoping on a few catalyst events and also diversifying, we have the team in place with the experience to execute.
Thank you. According to Statista, the global e-cigarettes market is projected to generate revenue of $24.6 billion US in 2023, with the United States estimated at $8.3 billion US. Harbinger Research recently issued an updated research report, giving the company a strong buy rating and a 12-month price target of $1.80 per share, a premium of 386% over the 37-cent price on October 9th, the date the report was released. Senior research analyst Brian Connell, CFA, stated, "The company survived a very difficult business downturn in 2021 through early 2023 and is now poised for accelerating growth. We believe its recent announcements regarding adding 1,500 new Circle K locations cements our thesis of accelerating growth during calendar year 2024 and beyond. We expect additional announcements regarding new, larger customer shipments during the coming quarters. We also expect to see Kaival's royalty receipts reach 7 figures next fiscal year." The shares are currently trading at 23 cents. For more information, please visit the company's website, KaivalBrands.com. For investor relations, please visit ir.kaivalbrands.com. I'm Katrina Cotton for InvestmentPitch Media.